Welcome to another episode of Fun with Flags. It is such a pleasure to bring yet another exciting video to you. This video will be featuring the city of tradition, Hong Kong. Sit and back and enjoy the video. Well, let's dive in and explore. This itinerary here shows you what I am going to talk about in this video, and those segments are namely significance of Hong Kong flag, creation of Hong Kong flag, what makes Hong Kong a unique country, all you need to know of Hong Kong, and finally famous places in Hong Kong. Let's move to our first segment on significance of Hong Kong flag. The color red is a noteworthy in Chinese culture and also a festive color that represents communism. Also, the color red also signifies the relations that were regained between China and post-colonial Hong Kong. The strategic location of the colors white and red on the flag depict the one country, two systems ideology and political concept. Moreover, the Bauhinia blacana flower serves as a symbol of harmony. The 5 stars in the petals of the flower represent the Communist Party and Mao Zedong's 4 classes, which are namely proletarian workers, agricultural peasants, petty bourgeoisie, and finally capitalists. Do you know that length of the flag is exactly twice the breadth of the flag where the flower spreads its petals uniformly at the center? Also, if you did not know, the 5 flower petals, each containing a 5-pointed red star, indicate socialism as well as communism that can be seen from the flower stamen. Let's move on to the creation of the Hong Kong flag. Well, between 1959 to 1997, Hong Kong used a colonial flag characterized by the British Blue Ensign flag that consisted of the Hong Kong coat of arms on a white ring. The flag then went through a lot of modifications during the last centuries of British colonial rule. Following 1876 to 1955, a stamp signifying Hong Kong was introduced, and the design of the flag changed too and was designed by the late Richard Graves Macdonald, the Hong Kong governor at that time. Also, from 1955 to 1959, the flag of the British colony of Hong Kong had a blue ensign with a waterfront scene. Before Hong Kong's switch of power from colonial rule, a competition was carried out in need of designing a new flag that would represent post-colonialism. A man called Ho was the eventual winner, and he was rather perplexed by the evenness of the 5 petals in the Bauhinia blacana and its winding pattern. Thus, he then decided to include the flower into the flag. The new design was then accepted on April 4, 1990 during the Third Assembly of the National People's Congress and was officially hoisted on July 1, 1997 during the abdication ceremony where the power was passed down. Let's move on to knowing the evolution of the Hong Kong flag. This evolution here shows you how the flags went through many intricate changes during the 4th colonial rule, under the British rule. The time period of the 4th colonial rule is 1871 to 1997, and hereby the many changes to the different flags, till 1997 end, where Hong Kong became a special administrative region under mainland China and gained its own flag. Let's move on to what makes Hong Kong a unique country. Well, there are 3 factors to be considered, which are namely battling theme parks, best fed people on Earth, and Hong Kong being a cosmopolitan city and a tropical paradise. The first factor on battling theme parks is as such because there are 2 sprawling theme parks in Hong Kong, which are Ocean Park and Disneyland, and ever since Disney landed in 2005, Ocean Park has defended its turf by investing over $700 million to become world's top marine theme park. But Disneyland retaliated by selling $13 entry tickets to visitors from mainland China. Hong Kong people are also known as the best-fed people on Earth because there is literally 1 restaurant for every 600 people, and Hong Kong has the highest per capita concentrations of cafes and restaurants in the world. Lastly, Hong Kong is a bustling cosmopolitan city with a tropical paradise. About 40% of Hong Kong's territory is protected by country parks, representing one of the highest proportions in the world. Also, a 20 minutes drive from anywhere in the city can take you to the idyllic beaches and hiking trails through lush green mountains. Let's move on to our next segment on all you need to know of Hong Kong. First of all, the capital city of Hong Kong is the city of Victoria. Also, the largest city is Kowloon City. Hong Kong rather has a subtle population of 7.2 million people. Hong Kong used to be in the Chinese Empire where it was incorporated into Imperial China around 2nd century BC. Hong Kong is also a British colony where under their rule, opium was widely regarded as it became a recreational drug that led to mass addiction, thus leading to illegal export from China. Hong Kong is also a special country that has two systems in place, where after the end of the British lease on new territories, British and China officially declared Hong Kong as a special administrative region of China, on 19 December 1984. The agreement following the declaration led to a basic law called, One Country, Two Systems, where Hong Kong can still retain its capitalist economy. After Hong Kong was handed over to China as a special administrative region, it has since become one of the world's leading tourists, industrial and financial centers. Also, Hong Kong is an independent territory which has three branches that form an integrated government where the executive branch is the head of government of Hong Kong and the legislative branch, which is headed by a council, debates on Hong Kong's policies. The judicial branch is an independent institution that provides legal advice to government and other legal matters. Hong Kong is made up 18 districts led by the district council, and the main dialect of Chinese spoken by Hong Kong people is Cantonese. The most visited attractions in Hong Kong are Victoria Peak, Lantau Island and lastly Hong Kong Disneyland if you did not know. Airport connections is another vital contribution to boosting Hong Kong's reputation. Currently, Hong Kong International Airport is a multi-modular transport center that offers travelers extensive land and sea connections to cities throughout the Greater Bay Area, GBA. This infographic here shows you the breakdown of famous towns in Hong Kong. Kowloon has a total population of 2,019,533 people. Sian Wan has a total population of 288,728 people, and lastly Yuan Long Kau Wei has a total population of 141,900 people. The remaining 4 million people belong to other rural towns that are not widely known. Let's move on to knowing about the culture of Hong Kong. As mentioned in previous video, culture consists of three aspects which are sports, music and arts. Let's move on to knowing about the culture of Hong Kong. As mentioned in previous video, culture consists of three aspects which are sports, music and arts. Arts in Hong Kong is quite an important contribution to the city being recognized as a vibrant country. Established in 1977, Hong Kong Arts Centre is a host to variety of live performances, movie screenings and exhibitions by local and international artists. Also, Unicom Park at Harbour Fun is a selfie-themed art park that promotes Hong Kong comics and animation industry, where with life-size sculptures, visitors can explore characters. Wan Chai Waterfront Promenade has become Insta-worthy hotspots thanks to homegrown artist Prudence Mock. There are many features here such as floor murals, a large-scale inflatable installation under the theme of Chocolate Rain. The artworks double up as different childhood games such as hopscotch and mazes for public to forge special memories. Queens houses 5 world-class art galleries known as David Zwirner, Hausa and Worth, Pace Gallery, Tang Contemporary Art and finally Whitestone Gallery. West Kowloon Cultural District that sits at the waterfront offers vast green spaces and vantage points near Victoria Harbour. Contemporary art performances and cultural events take place here which are Instagrammable too. Also, bringing a touch of FICA to Hong Kong, Café is a multi-brand Scandinavian boutique where there are hand-printed maps of Hong Kong neighborhoods made using old-world silkscreen technique. Cups used for brewing coffee are decorated using traditional style of folk art painting called kurbits from the Dalarna region of Sweden. Asia Society Hong Kong Centre is a modern site with seamlessly integrated heritage structure. A former explosives magazine of old Victoria Barracks gives way to 4 mid-19th century British military buildings. Oil Street Artspace was established by Leisure and Cultural Services Department. This place is a haven for artists to explore their art and is housed in a Grade II historic building that used to be a clubhouse for Royal Hong Kong Yacht Club. Let's move on to our second aspect of focus, which is music. Music in Hong Kong is an eclectic mixture of traditional and popular genres. Also, the music ranges from Cantonese opera, cantopop to Mandarin pop and even English pop. Cantonese opera is one of the most organized forms of entertainment which originated from the province of Guangdong in late 13th century during late Song dynasty. Namiam is a unique singing tradition of Cantonese dialect where a singer is involved in a single performance for an extended period of time. Do you know that cantopop is a dominant form of music with high associations with pop culture? After communist takeover into mainland China in 1949, Mandarin pop shifted to Hong Kong and gained recognition following the 1997 handover that Mandarin a standard language under the Basic Law. Do you know English pop does not mean its origins are from England, but rather Western-style pop songs sung in English? Moreover, English pop does not mean its origins are from England, but rather Western-style pop songs sung in English. Let's move on to our third aspect of focus, which is sports. Sports and recreation is integral to promoting healthy living among people. Hong Kong takes sports and recreation seriously where it hosts high-profile sporting events each year such as Golf Open and Marathon. Hiking trails, camping sites and idyllic island landscapes abound push city dwellers out of their cozy homes. The Leisure and Culture Services Department operates several public facilities such as sport grounds and recreation centers. Badminton, baseball, basketball, bowling and cycling are some of the most famous sports in the country, and equestrian sports such as horse racing, show jumping and dressage are famous here as well, which is authorized by Hong Kong Equestrian Federation, HKEF. Moreover, Hong Kong also has prominent private member clubs and associations dedicated to different types of sports such as tennis, football, and cricket. Do you know that thriving communities of trail runners, Muay Thai practitioners and yogis still exist in this very city? Let's move on to our fourth aspect of focus, which is food. Just like Singapore, Hong Kong is also famously known for its food haven. The Hong Kong cuisine is influenced by Cantonese cuisine, European cuisines, and British cuisines together with non-Cantonese Chinese cuisines. Hong Kong is also known as the gourmet paradise and World's Fair of Food. Also, Hong Kong practices a service-based economy and restaurant businesses serve as major economic contributors. Well, rice is predominantly the main staple for home meals. Examples of prominent famous meals are roast goose, wonton mee, snake soup and beef brisket noodle. Roast goose is a classic dish also somewhat known as a national dish, and wonton mee is a traditional Chinese thin-skinned dumpling-filled noodle dish. Moreover, snake soup is regarded as a delicacy to Hong Kong which is said to have many medicinal benefits and nutritional values. On top of this, beef brisket noodle has a lot of spices such as cardamom, ginger, star anise and cumin as well as clove, and finally beef brisket. Let's move on to knowing the economy of Hong Kong. First up would be synopsis to give you a head start of what the Hong Kong economy really is. Hong Kong is strategically located in an ideal location of fast-growing Asia and rides on the opportunities brought by the mainland economy, and the special administrative region has developed into an international business, trade, and financial hub as well as a renowned tourist city. Hong Kong also provides high value-added and knowledge-intensive services to the globalized world and serves as a gateway for overseas investors and mainland enterprises to go global, and has many areas of strength such as in businesses as well as keeping a simple, low-tax regime and free flow of capital and information, highly efficient markets, and world-class infrastructures. On top of this, Hong Kong's unique position under the one country, two systems policy also helps boost the enormous development potential for the Hong Kong economy. Next up, let's move on to knowing the GDP rate of Hong Kong. Hong Kong economy remains on track for recovery in second quarter of 2021, with GDP growing notably by 7.6% alongside improving global economic conditions and receding local epidemic. Economic recovery remains uneven, with exports of goods surpassing the high recorded in 2018 and tourism has been since frozen. Reviving external demand continues to support Hong Kong's exports of goods so that services exports can sustain growth. The Delta variant cases in the forefront of Hong Kong have given big problems to the economy, but the consumption voucher scheme would help to stimulate consumption sentiment and lend support to consumption-related sectors. Next up, let's move on to knowing the general situation of Hong Kong. Total merchandise value has amounted to $6,509.9 billion, surpassing 2018 amount by 12.8%, and underlying consumer price inflation rate went up slightly to 1.2% in August as year-on-year prices of CPI components such as eatery and clothing have widened amidst the somewhat stabilized local epidemic situation. Labor market continues to improve thanks to economic recovery, and along with that unemployment rate fell by 0.3% from May to June of year 2021, and underemployment rate fell 0.2% to 2.2%. Year-on-year growth in the value of total retail sales have picked up, notably to 11.9% due to consumption voucher scheme, CVS. We have come to the last segment of the video, which is exploring the famous places in Hong Kong. I have 4 special places to show you. Well, let's explore. First up is the Avenue of Stars. To briefly describe, to escape from the city towers to a wide open space with culture embedded, Avenue of Stars is a perfect mix of perfection. This is where the city pays homage to some of Hong Kong's best-known film stars and is specially dedicated to Chinese performers. After an upgrade, the place is bigger and better than ever. The new walkway is curved and stretches farther into the Victoria Harbour. Fun facts about this place would be that Avenue of Stars has a 4.5-metre-tall replica of the statuette given to winners at Hong Kong Film Awards, and along the 440-metre promenade, the story of Hong Kong's 100 years of cinematic history is told through inscriptions on 9 red pillars. There are even plaques offering celebrities such as Jackie Chan, and a 2.5-metre bronze statue is erected here since 2005. Next up would be the Hong Kong Disneyland. To briefly describe, Hong Kong Disneyland is a theme park located on the reclaimed land in Penny's Bay, Lantau Island, and is the largest theme park of Hong Kong. The park consists of 7 areas, which are Main Street, Fantasyland, Tomorrowland, Toy Story Land, Grizzly Gulch, Mystic Point, and finally USA. Fun facts about this place would be that the Sleeping Beauty Castle in this park is the only Disney castle to feature a natural mountain. Also, there are approximately 200 species of trees and 400 shrub species located here. Do you also know that Mystic Manor is the first trackless ride to apply radio frequency identification (RFID) technology? Moreover, the Iron Man experience in this theme park is the first Marvel attraction that came out in 2016. Next up would be the 10,000 Buddhas Monastery. To briefly describe, 10,000 Buddhas Monastery located in Sha Tin is set on a hilltop, and the main form of access to this monastery is by climbing long, curved stairs of approximately 400 steps. Each of the statues are unique, where many have quirky facial expressions. Inside the statue, small Buddha statues line the walls from almost the floor all the way to the ceiling. Fun facts about this place would be that this place isn't a monastery at all, since there are no monks living here. There are more than 10,000 Buddhas. This complex was built in the 1950s and is listed as a historic site. This monastery was originally intended to house monks, but it did not work out, thus becoming a temple started by revered Ute Kai in 1951 but officially opened to public in 1957. Last but not least would be the Dragon's Back. To briefly describe, Dragon's Back is a ridge that lies within the Shek O Country Park in southern Hong Kong Island. It is a popular hiking trail and a section of the 50 km Hong Kong Trail. The trail is comprised of cool paths leading to shady bamboo groves and lush woodland and open hillsides. The hike ends by walking through shaded tunnel areas of unusual vegetations that lead back to the central district of Hong Kong. There is also a nearby fishing village of Shek O, where there are popular seafood restaurants and sandy beach. Fun facts about this place would be that in 2004, this place was hailed by Time Asia as the best urban hiking trail. The name Dragon's Back comes from the ridge's undulating form, similar to a dragon's backbone. This marks the end of my video. Thank you for watching my video once again. Do like my video and hit that subscribe button on my channel. See ya!